It is a record year for ETFs, nearly $1 trillion in inflows so far and over $10 trillion in assets under management. What's next in 2025? Let's talk with Jay Jacobs, U.S. Head of Thematics and Active Equity ETFs at BlackRock, and with financial futurist and my old pal, ETF expert Dave Noddick. Jay, one big theme you had for ETFs in 2025, acceleration of the AI infrastructure phase that we're in. I know that sounds fancy, folks, but we're now entering an additional phase where AI is going to be much more integrated into consumer and enterprise applications, and eventually new business models are going to emerge. Tell us all about that and what ETFs might be applicable here.
Sure. Well, it's still very early in the AI adoption cycle. We've seen hundreds of billions of dollars invested in AI by some of these Mag 7 mega cap tech names, but adoption still will take time. For me to use it in my everyday, you and Dave, it takes time for people to change their habits. So the stage that we're in today is this $250 billion annual investment from mega cap tech stocks to build out data centers, to buy the latest chips, to train their models with bigger and bigger data sets. And all of that is really leading up to making AI more and more powerful to the point where we can't ignore it anymore. We have to use it in our everyday lives because it's such a powerful tool.
And of course, there's ETFs for that.
So this
BlackRock has them. What a surprise. Oh my.
So the way we have to think about this is from the entire value chain perspective, that it's not just about mega cap tech names. There's other semiconductor companies, there's other data center companies, there's other software companies that are benefiting from the rise of this theme. That's where we see funds like ARTI, which is an index-based artificial intelligence.
ARTY.
ARTY, or BAI, where we have a portfolio manager picking individual stocks for who could be the winners in AI going forward.
So one's active, one's index-based.
Exactly, yeah.
Now, as the whole mega force, I don't know what you call it, for AI evolves, investments in cybersecurity can become more important. I know this is one of your themes that you've been talking about. Tell us about that and what ETFs we've got for that.
So if you think about what AI is doing, it's taking data and making it more valuable because we can interact with it, we can learn from it, we create new things based off of that data. As data gets more valuable, companies that own that data or people that own that data are going to spend more money to protect it. So just like if you had a more expensive house, you'd buy more insurance. If you think about your data, you want to spend more on cybersecurity as it gets more valuable. And so we think this is really going to benefit the cybersecurity, software community, which is seeing very rapid revenue growth based off of this AI.
And of course, cleverly, iHack is there. And just show us, there we go, thank you. There's your largest holdings, SentinelOne, Fortinet. Any theme here about how you're picking the selections here?
A lot of it is about the larger getting larger. The big cybersecurity names tend to benefit from their own bigger data, their own bigger client bases. They are at the leading edge of how cybersecurity is defending data, and so they tend to get more and more clients going forward and grow their top line revenue.
Dave, your thoughts on all this? How is AI going to shape ETF investing?
I feel like there's another shoe to drop on this. So sure, we're going to have this middle area where we can see the build out in the AI companies themselves, in the software companies themselves. I think it's really interesting to think about the tails of that industry, which I would call infrastructure, things down to power, water. We're seeing huge inputs into the power sector. Real innovation happening there. These companies now making major allocations for their own generation capability. I think that's a trend we're going to see much more of going forward because it's only going to get hungrier. Yeah. And then on the other end, those companies that take the work those AI companies are doing and really bring them to retail. You said it's going to take some time before this is part of your day-to-day life. When it's on your phone and you're talking to it all day, that's when it's going to matter. So I would really look towards those retail names that we're used to thinking about, say an Apple or even a Samsung, folks that are making those devices. When you see the integration really work there, that's something to pay attention to.
Your thoughts on that? I mean, Apple's such an obvious choice here from a beneficiary point of view. I have the new iPhone, and they're already telling me about how I can integrate my email, and they'll summarize every single word on the emails for me on AI and infrastructure.
I couldn't agree more with Dave on the infrastructure side of things. If you look at the last 15 years in the United States, you had zero electricity demand growth. You had population growth, you had economic growth, but we didn't need more electricity because we were actually getting more efficient with electricity.
And we weren't getting a lot of household formations, too.
Right.
That's another thing.
Not a lot of household formation. All of a sudden, because of AI, because of electric vehicles, because of a growth in manufacturing again in the United States, you have a lot more electricity demand, and that, if you think about a utility going from 0 growth to 2% growth, that's actually a complete shift in how they have to think about their capital expenditure planning, where they're going to get funding.
Who would have thought utilities would be an AI play? And yet that's what happened this year. It's really, it's not just, we can't say they're just interest rate sensitive plays, they're AI plays.
I think what people forget is kind of magical as technology is, there's real physical things on the ground that run that technology. Whether it's power, whether it's data centers and real estate, whether it's chips, it's not just something that lives in the ether, in the cloud. There's real physical things that have to happen. And that means energy, that means more materials like copper, that means more real estate. You really have to think about kind of the physical infrastructure that underlies it.